I don't know if you knew, but a poll was taken and research was done. And it say 84% of U.S. Americans or U.S. adults say they have at least taken one precaution to protect themselves or their families from the possibility of gun violence. And what we've saw over the last 10 or 20 years is that gun violence shows up in different ways. If you think about it, the number one cause of gun violence, believe it or not, is suicide. Over 22,000 people, 22,000 people. If you look around this stadium, it may be 1,000, so exponentially think about 22,000 people a year kill themselves from firearms. But unfortunately, another 17,000 are murdered each year in America. 17,000. More people are murdered in America than people that were in the Gulf War and many of the other wars we went into. So in some cases, it's safer for vulnerable communities or individuals in vulnerable communities to go into the military, be involved in war, than to live in their own community at home. That's something I want you to consider. It's half of all U.S. adults say they or a family member have experienced a gun-related incident. And let me say this, right? If I know you see the slides and you will say, are you one of those people who don't believe in Second Amendment rights? Absolutely not. I believe we do have the right to bear arms because it's a constitutional right. But I believe also we have to do it responsibly. Whatever we do, whether it's drinking, whatever, we just got to do it responsibly. So I want to be clear about that. And I don't believe guns kill people. I believe people kill people because of their conditions. I don't either. And I'm not, on a lot of issues, I'm apolitical. I don't believe in the left or the right. I just believe in what God said, what's right and what's wrong. Like, I don't want nobody to get hurt. I don't want nobody to die. I believe we should use things for what we intended for them, or the person that created them intended for their use. That's what I'm talking about, doing everything responsibly. And that's even driving a motor vehicle. You don't want nobody driving drunk. Right, because not only can they hurt themselves, but they can hurt others as well. And that's the only thing I'm promoting, is just doing things the right way, whatever you're doing, and bringing safety to everybody. That's my perspective. Because I want to be clear, because sometimes when people do these lectures, they don't be poignant about their beliefs and their moral compass. So a person might think they think this or think that, and I want to be clear because we're having a conversation, remember, and I want you to know exactly where I'm coming from. And the reason why this topic means so much to me is because I grew up in one of those communities. I grew up in the Austin area in Chicago on the west side, in a community. We had one year over 100 homicides and 400 people being shot in a year. Not the city, in one community. And if you wrap your mind around that, that's somebody I know being shot every day. Somebody you know, or not, I might not know the person that got shot, but I know their mom or their cousin or their auntie or their neighbor. So when I think about gun violence, it impacts me different because I'm so close to the problem. And even though I matriculated and was able to move out of the neighborhood, my family is still there. So every time I see the news or I hear something about Chicago, because I still live in Chicago because we're trying to change things around, my heart jumps. The 4th of July, Chicago had one of the most horrendous weekends in the last 10 years. 109 people were shot and 21 people was killed in 2 days. 109 people were shot and 21 people was killed. It's like I need you to get this, every 11 minutes. So I think today, for my conversation with you, I got what? 45 minutes. 4 people are going to be shot in America that's black. Every 11 minutes, a black person is shot and wounded in in America. That's why I'm talking about this all over the country. Because if you're not akin, adjacent to, or close to the problem, a lot of times we won't even know it exists. And here's something I want us to think about, right? I know America is the most, to me, amazing country on the planet. And I believe it's amazing despite some of the challenges with its history, despite all the other stuff we argue about. I believe its brilliance, its excellence, what makes it so amazing is its diversity. You could think about almost every ethnicity on the planet, we got it in America. And I don't think no other country can say that. No other, even if you say like the Swiss do that, well, we got Swiss over here. The Chinese do that, we got Chinese. No matter what nationality you name, we got it here. So we got that brilliance, we got the best of everything here. And when you look at a diagram, and we got exponentially more homicides per 1,000 than any country on the planet, we got to ask, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? Because if you think about a shooting, typically a shooting occurs for one reason. One reason for the most part. A person or 2 people or 2 groups or whatever have a conflict, and one person believes the best way to resolve it is through a firearm, using a firearm. And when you think about it, and I'm not talking about self-defense, I'm gonna erase all that. Not if an intruder coming in, I'm not saying have a conversation with them. I'm saying almost 95% of homicides are based upon conflict between 2 people who know each other or 2 groups that know each other. And a person believes the best way to resolve it is through using a gun. And we know, like, that ain't the best way. That's using a temporary problem, using something permanent to solve it. And then most of the people that do that, then they have regret. Like, it's an emotional response, something spontaneous. So we got to do things different and teach different ways, really, of conflict resolution, how to resolve situations, particularly in communities that feel like this is the only way to resolve it.